All right, so our project was the field video data processing app, and my name is Daria, and I'm a software engineer, and I was working with Myranda, who is a data scientist at NOAA. And so the project goal was to build an open source tool that assists the user in annotating their videos. And so when you hear annotating, you will probably think like adding bounding boxes, but here we kind of use that to more generally mean just adding whatever info about the video based on timestamp to a data set. And so a use case that kind of motivated this project was, so Stuart Ryan, who's a research assistant at Bigelow, they have some field video from a project where they kind of have video cameras, and they put squid baits out, and then they measure like maybe which creatures came in, log like their species, how many squid baits were eaten at a certain time step, etc. And so there's like, they have their own data format and configuration, and time-based events are kind of specific to their own project. Oops. All right, and so the features that we wanted for this application were a browser-based interface, and that's just kind of for like the future goals of the project, where there could be some machine learning assisted annotation and having like a more powerful backend, maybe on a server, but like still being able to access the interface locally, just with reference to like a port. Another feature would be video upload, and then the ability to specify the data configuration for these events, or like whatever annotation you want, the user may want. Video metadata entry, so that would be like persistent between rows of the data set. So like video ID, maybe like the location that the video was taken, the depth, etc. Time-based event logging and data entry, and then data export. And so kind of within the timeline of OceanHackWeek, just because neither Myranda and I were that experienced with web-based development and front-end development, we kind of just focused on one aspect of this tool, and that was just this time-based event logging and data entry. And so we were experimenting with Flask and Streamlit as like the web-based frameworks, and decided to kind of work with Streamlit first, just because there are some like built-in widgets that we could just get started working with and like figuring out kind of the data flow. And so kind of like what this like piece would be is that like if you're playing a video, you can pause the video, you get the timestamp, and then you would make a data entry and then save that data entry to your data set. Okay, and so how far did we get? And so we didn't complete the tool. We kind of focused on this step, but we did get organized about the project idea and kind of figured out what was reasonable to work on within the time frame of OceanHackWeek. So we started a repo with just a basic Streamlit app, and then experimented with the Streamlit widgets, and found some limitations, and kind of wanted to get like a demo for you guys. So we played around with OpenCV. Oops, I want to escape this, so I'll play that here. And so this is just like a recording of a demo that Myranda made, where she's running the app. And this is just with OpenCV, and so you can see there's like a timestamp in the top corner. And there are times we can't hear the video is paused just with a click. And that's just kind of like, at that point, I mean, in the actual app, you would be able to like see like a data entry form, and then be able to enter whatever you want at that timestamp. Okay. Okay, so what did we learn? So we kind of figured out which frameworks might be better than others for future development. In this case, we probably want to use Flask. So Streamlit, like the existing tools that we were, or the existing widgets that we were working with, were their file upload, and then also their video like play widget. And so the existing widget, it doesn't like communicate with the backend when, or like the timestamp of what the pause is. So like, let's say on the front end, you pause the video, the backend doesn't know like any information about the state of the video on the front end. And that's kind of, we need that information on the back end to actually like log in the database. And so to have more, I guess, freedom with, or I mean, we could develop a widget in Streamlit, but Flask kind of gives us more configurability for making our own widgets or like features. We also learned about existence, features, and limitations of similar existing kind of image or video annotation tools. So one of these was Zooniverse, which is a crowdsourced image annotation tool, and they have just like a nice data flow or like setup of like an experiment for image processing. And then there's another called Event Measure, which is made through CGIS, and they also have like a video annotation tool, but it is limited in terms of like the interface, and it's also just constrained to Windows machines, and this is the hope is to be more general. And also just stories and ideas from fellow OceanHackWeek participants who have spent time processing videos like these. And so what has been most challenging and rewarding about the project? I guess just thinking about the data flow and process of making a tool like this. Again, I don't have much experience working with web frameworks, so that was just interesting to get to know like kind of what you have to consider to make it run, and getting more of a solid idea of what needs to be done. And then also just talking with OceanHackWeek participants was also pretty cool. What aspects will we be working on? Just continuing to implement this with Flask. I think Myranda and I are interested in continuing this, and then a long-term goal is to have like a machine learning assisted annotation component. But yeah, thanks for the opportunity. This was a really great program, and I hope to continue this project. So, thank you.
Brilliant.